Welcome back, friends. It is time for game number 4 out of 5 for today in the EU League. I know, so far, so good. We got some relatively quick games for the day, and now we turn to G2, and they're playing against outsiders on the opposite end. Let's have a chat about them here live again on the Analyst Desk. I'm Miloš the Medic, your host. With me are Fresh and Fabian, who are seated down because their glutes don't really function as well as mine.
We're lazy.
It's going to be flexing.
Pretty much it.
That sounds good enough. Well, let's talk about, first of all, outsiders. What can this team offer today? Because, honestly, they've had some pretty decent successes.
I think they look good against traditional teams that play a bit more of the slower game style that they're used to. We've talked quite a lot about it before, that Russian teams, they tend to get stuck in the strategical aspect of maps and then kind of just repeating whatever they've been doing so far, just doing it over and over again. So when they go up against teams that play that sort of play style a bit slower, a little bit more predictable, a little bit more understood rather than the quick siege, they'll do well. But if they go up against a team that plays fast and loose, it might look a bit different.
And I think you see that in the results. Lost against LFO, won against Na'Vi. Admittedly, Na'Vi, who had their issues on attack, but it was exactly that. It was very readable when they went up against Na'Vi. They knew exactly what was going to happen, and then they could just front it up. But when they was against LFO, and that fast pace, what we saw in the very first game of Playday 1, that's where they came unstuck.
They didn't really expect LFO to play that aggressive, it seemed. And then they went to Na'Vi, and everything was fine.
But what about G2 on the other side, Jack?
G2 have been possibly the most impressed I've been by a G2 team in the past 2-ish years,
Since
maybe.
I left, basically.
Yeah, okay. Well, no, I was impressed when they were. Doesn't matter. Anyway, they've gone for this super team approach. They're looking very good. And the one thing that I'm liking is I'm really kind of thinking of G2 as the masters of the innovation, particularly with reference to attacker repick. The way that they're able to just drone out, and they've got a very good drone network. They drone out exactly what the defenders are going to use, and then they formulate a plan in the game, in the actual round, repick into whatever they think will work best for them to win that round. And they've only played Bank, so I can only reference what they've done on Bank, but it's Osa into Ying, into Monty, specifically Alamau, but also the breaches that they need. They're very clever and they're very subtle with the way that they do it, but it's really enabling their attacks, and I'm very impressed with that.
And doing something different every attack is the most important part. And then obviously, as you said, only played Bank so far. It's going to be interesting to see if it keeps moving over to other maps as well. Because if it doesn't, then we're seeing an issue with the team rather than the map. And I think that they might have Bank figure out, because it's been a map for such a long time. And even though we have seen the change of the map, it's not that big of a change.
Yeah.
So if it keeps moving over to other maps, I'm hopeful for them because they've looked good so far. And now it's just up to them to prove it.
Yeah, I think if they do that today, they could really have a lot of success against outsiders, which is what we said. The unpredictability is what outsiders struggled with, and unpredictability has kind of been the name of the game for G2.
Can we get camera 4 on for just a moment? Yeah. Don't they just look like the 2 old men in the theater from the Muppets? It's wonderful. I'm loving every moment of it.
Those two people didn't have a hammer.
What do they look like? What do they look like, those mans? Come on, give them to me. G2 outsiders.
We could just let him do the rest now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Non-map pool, 8 are out. What is... I would still be the best analyst on this. One is left. Which one will it be? And we're going to have it. There it is. It's Oregon, picked up by outsiders, where they start off on the attacking side, having the pick.
How does that look, Miloš?
Yeah, what do you think about that, Miloš? Do you think there could be any band operators?
There could be band operators. However, I think the main thing is, how does G2 now, as this explosive team, play on what is very much considered a classic map like Oregon? There's no real, okay, this side is more favored than the other. And yes, we don't have enough data to now just say straight up, this is what G2 are going to play like on Oregon, not this roster, not this map. Outsiders on the other side, you kind of have a bit of a better idea, but it's not like they had the greatest successes either on it. So the big question is, all right, untested versus we know they're there, but they were always kind of meh on this map. This is a toss-up. I believe G2 might be able to pull this off, given what we've seen, for example, on Bank, with the way that they were coordinated. That sort of play style is just so beautiful to see.
Yep.
What Fabian didn't mention, but actually I mentioned, which is the fact that they are so adaptable in the middle of the round, those quick ideas that come out in between. I'm loving it. I'm living for it. I want to see G2 succeed in this one. But Outsiders, they can surprise us any day of the week. Thank you very much.
Is the lobby ready?
I don't know. You're the host.
We can throw it over.
You're the host.
If you tell us it's ready.
You're the host. Okay,
Okay,
let's time it. Together, you're supposed to say the same thing. Okay, you're supposed to toss together.
Oh.
I don't have no idea what he wants from us.
He
two are
wants us
supposed
to
to
toss it to
together.
the casters.
So what you're supposed to
Here
say?
we have half
No.
an-
Let's toss it to
they're
our
gonna cast
casters.
the game.
No. Both of you together. You say, let's toss it to our casters. Happen.
You ready?
Let's toss
Enjoy.
it.
We need a 3, 2, 1.
Okay, at the same time.
Countdown.
3, 2, 1.
Let's toss it to
our
M.
casters. M and Hap. The lobby is ready. It's
I
all
was just
yours.
tossing it to M.
I'm just the best on here. Come on.
Yeah, you forgot Hap. Continue.
Hap's very forgettable.
Can we fire other people? I was going to say thank you very much, Milosh and Milosh, for the analyst desk segment there. The other two didn't really. Fabian at least made an attempt going for a good toss there. Let's just put up.
They
like
made an
that.
attempt as much as they made an attempt to stand up.
Yes.
You gotta realize they're on camera for like 20 minutes of a day max, and they can't do it.
No, it's too difficult. I mean, did they walk to the
Tim,
studio today?
You can't keep Tim sat. Tim stood for 90% of his day. As soon as this camera goes, Tim's up.
You know what?
Around.
Let's just throw this camera out and
Maybe we should do a broadcast where all of us are wearing like a pedometer to count steps.
Ooh.
And then we'll see who's done the most.
I would
by the
actually
day.
try
And we'll
hard
see
then.
if the analyst desk gets into double figures.
Only when they're talking.
Well, no, it's a question of running their feet, not their mouths. All right, good. All right, we've worked. we've worked.
Did you see what the socials were?
No. What were they?
You can guess who was the favorite.
Hello, stream. Hi, Alamau.
Any
Fresh
guesses?
is circling us
Yeah, he's circling us.
like a
But
excited.
as true professionals, we will not be distracted by it.
What will we be distracted by?
95% G2 voted G2. 5% only towards Outsiders. So that is, you're done. Doki is personally offended by that ban, even though it was their own. He says it again after the Thatcher ban, which is a logical
No,
ban. I mean, both these are
I think
quite...
that's the old you're done. I don't think he said it twice.
You are, so Citizen says, so... I don't know.
No, you did just say it to camera, though. He did just point at the camera
Yeah.
and say it.
They might just playing mind games with one another here. Fun fact, G2, the only team. I mean, today started off with 3 teams that were able to get to 9 points. Now, due to the fact that European League is a league of 9 matches instead of 7, like, for example, APAC North, APAC South, where we have our first playoff teams confirmed, it takes a bit longer for EU to send their major candidates over to
We are also
to
only
the
on
determined
Playday
location.
3.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to
We're
say.
very early.
And I was working up to it.
Okay.
Today we had 3 teams that were able to be on 9 points and thus put 3 points between themselves and the rest of the pack.
Yeah.
Those teams were Heroic, LFO, and G2, who's currently playing. So G2 indeed have an opportunity to take this win here, put 3 points between themselves and LFO and Heroic, and 4 points or more between the rest of them. So it is up to them to grasp this opportunity, and whether or not they will be able to, with that, take the lead off the tables for now.
Are you allowed to razz those guys for sitting down? Because you sit down a lot.
I do sit down. Well, I wasn't
We're
raising them.
concerned about your shrimp back.
You were the one that started it, the roast of the analysts.
Yeah, well, I'm always allowed to. We're concerned about your back.
My back is fine.
Okay.
I actually do have scoliosis,
Oh, okay, well,
so yeah, I need to.
that's a side story. For now,
That's
let's
a
get
side
into
story.
the fact. We'll talk about your pain later. Pasha is trying to put some quick pain here onto the double window.
Yeah.
He's looking to see if he can just cut off any rotations, maybe catch somebody out early as they do some drone work on the other side of Armory. It's quite quick here, but it's also very multifaceted from Outsiders. They have the player underneath. They have the potential pressure they're trying to apply to Armory as well as the double window. There's not really anyone set up for a direct trade here as of yet, and that grenade rolls past Virtue. Some damage is done to Prano, I believe. Yeah, out on the tier 2 window.
Yeah, it's not by that grenade. Took some damage at the very same time it exploded, but no damage done. Milan gets the first. It's Virtue gone. That's the player in the kitchen that has been dispatched off. Newjammer as well being taken out, and slowly but steadily the first or middle floor is being taken under control here by the side of Outsiders. Steadily, they need to make sure that everything is clear. And the drones, they need to follow suit. Smashy is quite close, but doesn't know there's someone still around the corner here. And if he doesn't check it, Doki might be able to get a free kill. That's one. Spots the extra thermic, but is not quite able to actually land the shot. Tosses an impact, but it's too late. Loses his life as a result as well. And that's a 4-on-3 advantage here for Outsiders.
Yeah, they'd already pulled themselves into Classroom. They had themselves locked in, ready in case anything came round, and that sort of saved them, because Doki went for the pre-fire. He expected a player to be there. There wasn't, so then he went for the impact, but at that point, that player's responded. They've rotated themselves to put pressure from the Classroom door onto Split. Here, a minute on the clock, and they're still going to try and steadily get themselves the angles and the hatches open. They're making sure that they can get some of the control before, but they've still not stopped moving. That's what I quite like about Outsiders here. Sometimes teams have stalled, they've slowed, especially when the hold is slightly further out, but they've kept that sort of momentum, that pace from when they first entered.
The problem, though, is 4 players all on the same side, so G2 have a good way to counter this if everybody is paying attention here of where the push is actually going to be coming from. There's no one to come in from the side, and that means if all guns are aiming the same direction, which they currently are, they might be able to make the trade game happen here on the side of G2. Rask with a pre-fire, though, will find Piranha, but its position is being retaken by Citizen, and as Alamau creates another rotation here with a shotgun, he needs to be very careful to step out there because they might be watching it. Basher with the pre-fire loses his life, and it's only up to FMX now. Rotates into Elbow, is trying to hunt down Citizen, who goes for the pre-fire, and G2 win their first round.
A really wide hold, spread out all the way across the map and pulled themselves back there. G2, they sort of played face and rebuffed and rebuffed and rebuffed and just did enough in the little different pockets of engagement during that map and that sort of presence and the pressure Outsiders was putting on to slow down the approach there. And obviously, it was still continuing there at the bottom as well. Consistently, G2 players were swinging in to the aggression. It's something that we've sort of seen from their new face, their new setup, is they're more happy to meet this confrontation. They keep trying to get aggro. It's very rare to see them sort of sitting and resting on their laurels. There's always something going on. And if I'm going to compliment Outsiders about it on their approach, G2 obviously earn it for their defense.
Yeah, that last defense, those last couple of seconds when Outsiders wanted to push through, that is where they'll fall apart. And I said it before, no one is on a different angle. They had a man advantage. They could afford to put someone down Laundry or Freezers just so you have the extra angle to challenge. Because you saw from Alamau, allowed to play in the Freezer, picked up a kill. Citizen from the elbow picks up 2. If you had someone in the Freezer, you could have pushed from 2 sides. You might have been able to pick up that kill and turn it into a 1vx for the side of G2. Now, they failed in doing that, and I mean, that happens. They're going for the next side now, though. It is going to be the bedrooms, the top floor, and Smash bringing the Amaru is going to be a potential either swinging from the window or using the hatch inside the bedroom in the kitchen.
Up a window. We've seen a window push here before. And it was, I don't know who.
No one is near.
French team. Smash is so tempted, but it makes so much noise. And there's not many places you'll be able to get that quick aggression in. They will expect it from there. So Rask on that window with the kit. He's got to make sure that his movement matches it. There it is, the burn, the burst. Smash and Pasha both in and up. Citizen instantly taken aback, but the diffuser is cold too. They tried to find the fight in the angle. Piranha's going for the rotation underneath. Doki at the top of white. It's just making sure that there's some solidity, but it's sort of scarpered and slowed. Alamau fights his way back across Attic, and now they're able to go for the retake. It's just Smash left in a 1 versus 3. The rest of the work done by the rest of G2 made sure they had to catch. The diffuser going cold and not being able to be planted was a very important part. I'm not entirely sure where Rask was trying to get that kit to, and obviously if there was someone else he might have been able to just try and plant it, it could have been a very different story.
Valiant effort there. I mean, we had the jump in from the big window. We had the Amaru from the kids window. We also had someone instantly going in from Attic. And that all went quite well. The first 2 kills did go in favor of Outsiders, but as you said, the diffuser got dropped. Now, I think he didn't want to go behind the bunk beds as there was verticalities open up there. It's also pretty much a default plant spot, so if you haven't cleared out the bottom floor, you do not want to plant in that default plant spot. A Nitro cell could be coming up from below, so he might have been trying to dig it a little bit deeper. I think he was behind the half wall that is out there, or you know, that is just blocking a bit of line of sight towards Trophy, but that was being watched by the player on white. And as that, G2 find a win, a second win, which seemed like it could have been going either way. Just an extra kill in Outsider's favor, and it would have been their round. Especially as Alamau allowed to rotate back through the big tower, through the attic eventually. Pretty key. And as they are now back at the first floor side, it is going to be the dining and the meeting. It is going to be Citizen hiding in a close corner. Now he's going to get pre-fired. That's Milan that gets taken out there. They do not know it, however, and he's just staying put here, waiting for some teammates to come and pick him up. But Alamau on the other side, near white, is preparing a jump out. So if they do see someone run over, look at that. Every single window is aimed that way. Citizen will confirm the kill eventually, though. It was only a matter of time.
Yeah, there's no way you're getting to that player unless you're really taking a mad dash. And at that point, we saw the pressure G2 was trying to play to pretty much every single window. The Clash of Virtue is here, feeding all of the intel about this approach, the push. That being soft means that they're not quite comfortable. Doki can start sort of pinging bullets around through it and seeing if he can do any damage and destruction. They're just droning and pushing that Clash back. She's not going to be instantly dropped by this, trying to find the mute jammers, and that grenade is probably going to be fed through just so they don't have to try and hold and sit, and slightly damaged the Maverick, but they're able to keep burning.
Super shorty as well, though, on their side. But look at that, there's impacts on the Clash, on Virtue. So now they've opened up this little area at the bottom. It's easy for Virtue to try and get the impact trick through because there's no angle that they're currently watching. As soon as this exothermic starts popping, that's going to be an impact nade that should be flying right through. There it comes. Snowy misses the first, and that means it still opens up onto the stage, though. So Outsiders have an opportunity to go for a plant soon.
Well, Doki's still with a little bit of control on the top. Knows he's going to be in a bit of a fight here and knows he can try and apply pressure. He's waiting for some support. Alamau, in the meantime, that's a man who cannot be blinded behind a woman who cannot be moved. The Clash has just sort of set them up impromptu Talon shields if they're a reverse Osa. And, well, there's a reverse peek. FMX takes care of Alamau over the side. Now the Clash is a little bit vulnerable here. No one else to really offer any support. Citizen and Doki are still eyeing up the idea of going for the push. This grenade doesn't get caught. There's a Jaeger behind there, but at that point he's going to try and move it away. Smash! Hell of a take onto Citizen.
They probably think the attic might be clear now, though, but Doki is still out there as Rask is trying to push the green hallway into the kitchen. The Clash, of course, near there. Prano trying to rotate out as fast as he possibly can because they need to keep control of the actual site. This is dangerous. You cannot just rip that open. And it's only up to Doki now, but Doki is above. Is he going to be able to retake the attic here? Spots one player, doesn't quite get the kill, and Smash locks it off. Outsiders win a round here on their attack.
There it is. It was a couple of missed moments. The impact could have been massive in terms of stopping at least the first charge, maybe the second if they'd been able to catch it, but suddenly they're in a tricky situation. Alamau behind the Clash getting caught out by the peak. The sort of swings and moments that were disconnecting there from G2, this is what Outsiders are always capable of. That level of precision, that level of being able to just pull players out of a fight and engagement. They are a fantastic ones team. But it's finding the opportunity to have them when G2 are still trying to keep the pace quick.
Yeah, G2 is continuously trying to, well, trade each other out and make sure that they stay in control. And, I mean, you just saw there in Attic. Doki fell back after nades came through. Citizen instead just ran in quite deep. Got himself killed as a result. And pulling off the barricade like that, also not really ideal. Especially not when they are already in the side completely. And they might have been lacking information. Probably were. Like, if you knew they were there, you're not going to be trying to do it like that. You probably go for a punch so you can at least swing back. But it is what it is. And it is 1-2. G2 still in that lead. Outsiders just a singular out for now. And, I mean, it did play quite well. But as you said, it was based on those ones. Based on not really G2 being in a position to go for these refrags. A missed impact that opened up a giant rotation, which they could then use to snowball the rest of the site, is basically the summary for that. And then head back to a different one. we're headed back towards the basement. Something we saw there the last time is when they did get a 2-man entry compared to just a 1 loss on their side. They all went for 1 hedge. And G2 realized that, and they were watching it. But this time, look at that, Virtue, again in the same position, probably will be droned, but Doki could be playing that from above on the hatch and try and provide some support there.
Milon, he's waiting to see if
Sees the
swings
elbow.
a little bit wide. Sometimes you don't know what you truly see, and well, he misses both. They duck very cleverly underneath that washing machine to give themselves a little bit more comfort and actually an escape. Otherwise, they probably would have found themselves getting an impromptu haircut via bullets. The pings are continual and pushed away. The E1D, well, sure, it scares them, and it gives you a little bit of control here over meeting. They can start trying to put their focus down towards those players in the basement now. We've had no blood, no loss as of yet. It has been a slightly different hold from G2 in that they started up top, but they made sure they could retreat their way all the way back down.
For sure, they're all back down, and that's what the E1D confirmed as well, of course. They spotted 2 guys inside the meeting hall. The E1D went off, and the last 2 pings get him actually down in that basement. So, you know it's going to be clear. All you need to make sure of now, however, is that they're not rotating back up. There's 3 staircases, 1 in the big tower, 1 near the laundry, and there's 1 also near the freezer. You need to make sure that they're not going to be, well, feeling adventurous there trying to move up. So there's probably going to be some drones set up for the occasion. 60 seconds, however, and Outsiders, they do need to push. There's not really any control they really have except for an opened hatch here, which they could try and use to drop, but it's not going to be enough. So FMX now inside barrels is going to be trying to stop the control from elbow, that line of sight that was used previously to get rid of 1 and 2 players. It's up to him now to stop that from happening, so a safe drop through the hatch is possible.
Virtue's hiding inside Harry Potter, and this
That's
grenade,
needed.
well, it's not quite going to get the full catch. More flashes, more burn, and more pressure as the E1D rolls out. He doesn't have to move, but he sprays through, gets the connection on the first, the second gets it back, but it's a 3 versus 3 there in sight. And they're able to get 1 more for the pressure. Alamau's just holding onto 1 corner. Citizen is the other member of G2 that might be able to pull it together. They were the catch in the win last time, but a cold kit means that that is a huge take. Citizen with a double, and Alamau locking in elbow. And still, those 2 players clutch it out once again.
You gotta give credit to the communication there. Citizen spotted a gun barrel, probably told Alamau, do not move. He hasn't seen you yet. Just hold that angle tight. And as soon as he got that kill, Alamau was able to sidestep out, get the kill into elbow. Citizen then follows that up with a nice and clean snap onto the bomb chassis for the 2nd kill. And G2 are now 3-1 in the lead here. Going back towards that top floor. Now we saw a rush here by the side of Outsiders, and when it went quite well in the very first couple of seconds, G2 was able to fight themselves back throughout that round. We're probably not going to see the same thing happen. G2 should be aware of the possibilities and most likely will be playing a little bit of extra utility. Here you see it again, the replays. That grenade, unable to pick up Virtue, he gets 1 after he was retraded out there. And that, of course, was the point of those 2 grenades. You want to get the player that is potentially inside Harry Potter. However, 1 got ADS, the other one, well, didn't land quite close enough. And Virtue able to pick up a kill as a result, as he's on the cams right now, trying to figure out where they will spawn, so they might be able to adjust their setup, adjust their potential spawn peaks, as Elamau was quite aggressive in the big tower there.
So, back round, and we're going to see if we can try and get a dorms with a little bit more in it. They'll still have to hit a tertiary site if this goes successful, whether it's meeting again or they go for the dining side. Either way, it starts here. And we'll, I guess, see if it's something where they go for... Well, it's obviously already something different than the rush it was before. They went with quick pace in an attempt on boots on the ground, and they got off to a good start, but a good start didn't lead to a satisfying finish. A bit of a slip and slide. And here, more attempts at intel on the approach, but it's a game that Outsiders have warmed up to.
Yeah, they definitely have, but as long as that default cam is up, it's just free information being given out to Doki here. Spots that head, knows there's going to be someone out there. There's a potential second, but he's just going to go for the run of it. Sees him up there, is unable to connect the shots, and has been spotted as a result. And that means he now needs to fall back. There is no sticking around for him, but he needs to be very careful as they're trying to cut off the rotations here from the green hallway. Alamaudo is around a corner, gets picked up, and a refrag comes in, or at least the attempt from Doki, but he's going to be able to fall fall back eventually. It's a 4-on-5 here. G2 is a man down, but Outsiders, they do not have this under control yet as Prano finds FMX.
There's the kit gone, and that's the man getting aggressive onto Walkin, and he's actually going to lock it up on the opposite side. Pasha finds Doki. In the meantime, a little bit more crowd control underneath, and that grenade goes wanting. They're out, they've moved, and they're out of that place with the new reinforced wall as well. It means that that loss of a thermite is going to be huge in terms of trying to get anything in their initial approach here. Smash is doing the damage from Attic, but they need some support, and they need to start seeing if they can try and make some of this distance go.
Well, the diffuser's actually down inside the master bedroom there, and we do have Virtue playing in that position as well. So if they were pushing in from the attic, it's going to be quite difficult for them to actually dispatch of him. So they need to go over the balcony. Virtue unaware, though, that Pasha is right around the corner. He swings over, gets that kill. That's the opportunity to regain the diffuser. And now it's a 4-on-2 situation. Citizen rotating down, still has a Nitro on board. Prano, he's the one that needs to dig in. He's the one that needs to hold for whatever he's worth right now. Spot Swan is going to be trying to waste some time here on that hold. 38 seconds. The diffuser still below. That's one kill. A potential second, but the SMG runs dry.
Milan, in the meantime, is continuing his trend, and Rask isn't going to be the one that finishes up. Actually, Milan again with his fourth, I believe, for the round, or third at least. Either way, huge drive by the player to keep them in pace. The 3-2 now. They're still able to potentially pull this back to even. They've done all the work a lot of teams can do on this, and it's just seeing if they can push it that little bit further. Back to Dorms, doubling down, so maybe we aren't going to see that tertiary site, but we still might see a little bit of a change here. There's positions, there's plays, there's moments there where G2 are taking these risks, but as I said, with Outsiders, there's always that possibility. It's always bubbling under the surface.
A bit of a over-aggression on the side of G2 there in multiple fronts, where they try to continuously play around on that first floor, even though it had already fallen into the control of Outsiders. Something they need to prevent from happening now, as the setup is relatively the same. If they do get another hold onto the diffuser, they need to keep control of it. And what happened there is Prano actually swinging wide through the rotation made on the games room into the walk-in closet. Gets the player, gets the thermite, carrying the diffuser in that master bedroom. Instantly reinforces off that wall because they have a kill. That is the hard breach gone. Why give them the opening if there's no need to? And Virtue moved into that position. However, then they lacked the information. They were not quite aware of the fact that people were coming up from the balcony there. It was just a free kill, a free, well, pass back into the round for Outsiders, and that lack of information really hurt them. I'm not quite sure if the default cam was still up. If it was, someone should have been watching that compared. Ooh, that's Rask. He's going up quick here. With that knock, he's going to be able to find one at least, and that is going to be a very early assassination there.
Well, there it is. We've seen Nook attempted a couple of times throughout this, and that is the perfect use. Milan is waiting for the catch there in case anybody goes for the rotate and tries to apply some pressure back on, but G2 isn't. They've realized there's a lot of tower control. They're going to make sure they don't overextend here. Smash is going for the swing in. They've got that reinforced and locked in now, and they're just going to see if they can try and, well, build from it. They don't have to overextend too much. That early kill grants them so much time. 2 minutes to work with, and as the drones are going to try and find that loose player, Milan's going to see if they can cut off any attempt at a swing rotation. Doki's there to offer some support, but at this point, Alamar's already gone. Dropped the hatch, hightailed it out of there, and he's going to rotate his way back around to the site.
Yeah, staying alive and wasting time is much more important here, and now they're playing near those laundry stairs. The swing and comes in. Doki gets a kill with a Nitro, and Alamau swings into FMX. Suddenly G2 is back in the lead of this round, and as Rask is rotating around, headed towards the meeting room, there he steps into a goo mine. That gives away the game that he's indeed out there. It seems like the attic push is going to be the main one, though. So as the diffuser is down, they might need to push for some kills, and Milan in first. Grenades are sailing in. They're getting rid of those bulletproof cameras, and Alamau still putting down his goo mines, but Rask on the other side of the wall might have heard that happen.
Oh, it's close. The other side of a soft wall is the only separation.
Oh, now he knows.
First to make some noise. They're going to be the first to go for the spray. 2 bodies inside that kitchen, and the second gets a grenade that takes care of that player. But Alamau, undetected, unknown. Could be a big surprise factor. The 50 seconds and the cold diffuser mean that there still needs to be some work done in the 3 versus 3. More grenades. They're going to see if they can try and get that collection, but without that being the catch, it's a run outside. It's a re-pick up, and it's a reapproach. Smash is just covering to make sure no player is going to get into the same position Virtue was in on the previous round, but with 30 seconds and the drones getting their final hold on what's there, you can see Alamau is now making his movements, trying to get himself into a new location. That rotate doesn't quite work, so instead, he's going to pick up sticks and head elsewhere. It's just waiting for this 3-2-1 go. The canisters, they're going to make it a little bit more uncomfortable. It's a three-pronged push, and the first sticks in. Smash is going to see if he can try and drive behind it across the top, and they're going for the default plant spot just on the close corners. The grenade roll over the top, bit of damage, but Ash is still standing. Alamau finishes off one, but they're going to get the plant off here. The canister doesn't quite get the full catch. It's a post-plant, and Rask slips out. After the work he's done before, Milan has the cross angle, Alamau has the revenge, and there is Rask to be the full stop on the end of a back and forth, and a 3-apiece half.
A huge round for Rask there, able to, let's say, start off with the early entry onto these armory stairs, moves up, gets that kill, goes back down, takes control of that first floor, uses these grenades to displace players inside the bedroom. A second player, of course, joins in, gets an actual kill with the grenade, but after that, he moves in, digs himself deep into the walk-in closet, just dodging every single line of sight that was being held by G2, finds 2 more kills in the diffuser afterwards. So huge round by him, basically single-handedly opening it up and closing it out as well. And that's a 3-3 split here. And now G2 will be on that attack. Outsiders, they started off a bit meh, maybe, but they definitely got into it as the half progressed. And now the big question is, can they do it as well onto the defense? Are they going to be able to hold off the attack that G2 is about to mount?
Attacker repick is coming through here. The Nook into the pockets of Doki and the Ying into the pockets of Prano. They could set themselves up here with a bit of pace, with only really the hard destruction that's coming through from what's in the pockets of the Maverick. They're going to have to make sure that they're laser focused in terms of getting their landing inside. And we've seen attempted quick pace and we've seen attempted rushes, but we haven't seen the Candelas as of yet, and or maybe they will, and then they probably won't see anything else after that. Smash is playing underneath for now. A position that we've not really seen entirely aggressed with from the side of G2. They've had players there, and FMX actually steps in on the Thorn now with that extension, but most of the time it seems like they've sort of tried to just hand over the land and not get killed in the process.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the gadget is quite slow, right? But Milan gets the first. It's Virtue off. That's an incredible early pick. And an important one as well is the Maverick out of play. And that means Walls are going to stay close a little bit more easily here. More importantly, maybe 2 grenades off the board, leaving only 4 in the hands of G2. They're just waiting for something, it seems, waiting for a trigger to occur. And Citizen that is looking to take control of the kitchen here. A grenade that might bounce close around the corner. No, it's going to be missing FMX there. He's definitely going to be moving, however. That might give away the information that someone is inside that kitchen currently.
I think that's it with FMX. He was in a hyper-aggressive position there. They're not going to really be able to get that true bounce on the grenade, but Smash in the meantime finds Doki on the back line. That doubling up, that pair of players is just a ping on problems. Alamau is going to have to try and make his way through. Just catches the back of the Thorn and looks to rotate for the second player. It's flashes around the corner. It's in a shotgun, but it's a little bit lost. They're able to find the hatch, though. That's all they need. Smash gets an escape after the work. Citizen gets Milan from underneath with a grenade and blows them out of it, and they've been able to pull the body balance back into their favor. But there's been a little bit of a change of face. The shield watching the top of white means that this approach is going to be much tougher without your hard destruction, which was the first off the board.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be harder indeed, and as they're starting to prepare here to go for a final execute, there's still a player off-site, and that is going to be the potential difference maker here. Bulletproof's out there, there's also still Razor Blooms. They need to go for an aggressive push, and they need to swing as well, but Smash below with a Nitro could be a true game changer here.
Well, Alamau gets taken out on the door instantly. There's the C4 prepped and ready in place. The Bulletproof was keeping an eye. Prana goes down as well inside the smoke, locked off with a shotgun. Citizen, he's going to see if he can find that loose player. Does. The catch and the reveal. It's a 2 versus 1 now, though, as the other one on the second story gets dropped off. There's that shield I talked about before, causing problems. The pre-fire round doesn't get it, but Pasha sure does. Outsiders take their first defense win and their 3rd round in a row.
Yeah, and with that, they are now in the lead of this matchup here, and, well, they probably want to continue that. I guess if you're looking back at that, just the sloppy entry death that comes through on the side of G2, they really needed to be a bit more careful there. Of course, the hot drone came in, but the player not really too worried about it. You are aware of this happening, and if that drone rolls around the corner in security, you just wait half a second, see if someone follows. If no one follows, you take out that drone. But if you do go for that drone, you're sure as hell going to be losing your life to Doki running around the corner afterwards. So, well played by them there. Priority straight on the way that G2 is currently playing in their current iteration. So, yeah, that basically gets them that first kill, and it allows them to skirmish on a little bit longer as well.
Okay, G2, things have sort of gotten a bit out of hand here, and it's not that anyone is in particular underperforming, but it just hasn't seemed to have the same sharpness and readiness of that team dynamic that's really got you towards the top and fighting for it. And as we've seen, well, every other team that's fighting around the top has suffered and fallen apart, and at the minute, Outsiders are sort of teeing themselves up to keep the drive, but 3 or 3.5, it's still anyone's game. It's the first swing, and it's their opening sight.
It's the blitz.
Look at this. Yeah, it's the start of potentially something. The Flores drone is just going to make sure that anything that slows the blitz is gone. And I think we're about to get a 3-2-1 go. There it is. The blind, the flash. You're not going to be able to get that locked in. Alamau drops pistol, and suddenly you see all the bodies of Outsiders on the first 2 stories trying to make their way down. They've got themselves all the way in on Elbow, and Elbow is soft. That gives them a clean approach. G2, they're setting themselves up to make sure they don't suffer, but suddenly Outsiders are outside as their own sight.
Now, it might be actually worth it here to just try and hold on, but the shotgun from Pasha will be able to find Alamau right as the blitz comes through. Unable to land the shots, will be taken out. Milan, though, close around the corner, gets pre-fired by Virtue, and the man advantage continues to stay in G2's favor. I was going to say, you got control of Elbow now. You have cleared out that one player. No more smoke canisters. Just slow it back down, use it, and utilize it as you would in a normal round. You've gotten rid of such big utility already, as Rask is taking a big scrappy fight there right on the barrel side.
Well, Prano in the meantime gets Pasha a 4 versus 3 versus 1 is how it ends up after that back and forth smash. He's still above the hatch. He's waiting to see if anybody slips through, but a reverse grenade doesn't quite get the full catch. Prano's going to plant. At this point, Smash needs to make his way down to the site. He could have gone one of 2 ways, so he at least has that in his favor, but you assume there's intel and pings. And there it is, Paramount G2, and a bit of a sigh of relief as they're able to find around and stop the thread that's otherwise taken Outsiders to the lead. They brought themselves back level. Can they push on this advantage?
Yeah, that's it, right? Can they nail another round in right after it? We're headed back towards the basement here, and we are probably not going to be seeing the same amount of push power coming through with a blitz on the board.
It's not usually something
it's not usually, yeah. So maybe we see a different way that will force themselves to the side. I mean, they were quite quick. It worked out well. Alamau getting away with going ADS there. I'm not quite sure if there was the blind on FMX, but either way, the kill came through. That's important. That's the smoke suddenly off the board. It's just unfortunate there was a second shotgun waiting around the corner that just took him out as soon as the second challenge came through. But it was still a lot of utility suddenly off the board, and G2 had a lot more time to work with their clear. And it worked out quite well, but it could have also just ended very badly there if that smoke canister, for example, was popped a little bit before, and if the blitz did get taken out as soon as he went ADS.
So, Citizen is moving onto the Twitch, and Doki's going to pick up the Iana that was otherwise left behind. And G2, for me, are a team that have really gone into the attacker epics. So you sometimes see teams not really getting into it yet. It's new, it's taking some learning, it's improved the pace of the game. There we go, that one goes the right way. But they are a team that is consistently having these conversations, and I guess when you have this many talented attackers, yeah, why not utilize something that can really give you these quick ideas that are often driven by clever, quick players, and there's not many rosters that have as many as this team.
Now, both these Twitch drones are being put in a position where they can quickly try and strike. Now, first mirror window taken out together with an ADS, I believe that is. And Smash is looking to go for the hunt. We'll find that drone. And we'll be taking a bit of an aggressive position right next to it. Oh, is that Twitch drone gone? I think it is. I think FMX was just able to pick it up as I was hunting down the second mirror window. So that one will stick. So they're not going to be going for a laundry push most likely. But it's definitely going to be a bit easier to attack from the freezer side. That grenade might just land. Yes, it does. Smash taken out early on.
Yeah, I mean, getting that mirror window is probably the more important one, because to be honest, when you're trying to hold that angle, if you've been able to limit the play that they can do here onto that back towards that washing machine, it otherwise becomes suddenly a little bit easier to get some pressure onto that core, that middle. Otherwise, It's still a tricky swing either way. Here, with that freezer work done a little bit early, and now with that body taken off the top of the stairs, they can get themselves set up quite quickly. A default there from Rask, getting some spots. I know there's strong opinions about defaults, and yeah, you should get them, to be honest.
Yeah, Alamau now going on his drone as well. Imagine someone that is on the top of tower. Just would have had a free opportunity to go for a run-out now and pick him up. Instead, it's going to be FMX that was on his drone, unable to actually stop the shield from being destroyed. And with that elbow, suddenly turns a little bit weaker for the G2, outsider side. And G2 might be going for a bit of a push there as well eventually.
That's it. They're just taking care of all the utility around this swing. That grenade rolls perfectly. And that is 2 for 2 on grenades on holding players here on outsiders. They haven't seen a single member of G2, but G2 hasn't need to see them. They have themselves a little bit of a recalculation now as the pressure starts to come over from the opposite side. The early work was done on Laundry, and this late work is 3 for 3. Doki doubles down, and this stretch, this extension of a new method of play, FMX at least finds one. Doki finds one more with Prano getting the lock in, and G2 back in the lead.
I mean, who needs to take gunfights when you could just blow them up one by one, right? I mean,
3.
You use the Arteros, use the Twitch drone to get rid of ADSs, to get rid of any piece of utility that will protect them, and after that, you just roll them in. You ride after them, so there's no way for them that they're able to escape it. G2 in that lead, an extra round now, headed towards the bedrooms up top. G2 needs to attack those again. Let's see if they can find some success here. Outsiders are more than likely willing to pick up this 5th round for them as well, round number 10, because they themselves, they want to fight for the full 3 points. They do not just want to hand those over to G2. And if they cannot get the full 3, then at least go for 2 or 1. Try and take as much home as you possibly can, because otherwise you might need them later on. Let's say for either the major or for the end of year, when relegations come around. Now, currently, outsiders do not really have to worry about relegations, but since it's only Playday 3, everybody is still within that danger zone. So you want to make sure that you pick up as many points as you possibly can, because the sooner in the year you can lock off a spot for the next, the more ease of mind you will have.
G2, they've been able to apply some pace here and double down on Laundry, but we're back to Dorms and back to where they had a really early loss of, well, their only hard destruction, and making sure they have at least an option B here with Brano picking up the role of Hibana. They still have generally some of the similarities, and to be fair, when you get 3 out of 4 grenades to kill the previous round, may as well keep that presence, and it almost makes up for not dropping a default camera.
It almost does. There was also a lot of Valkyrie cameras on the board, by the way, but no one really ever got to use them on the side of outsiders because the grenades just kept running around the corner, and as soon as they were able to actually go for a push, it was 2v5 already. Either way, RC Roteros will be used. This one probably for a rotation. Yes, it will be, allowing LMAO to be a bit quicker through the showers corridors, have some extra opportunities to try and go for challenges, and as a second RC comes around, that will be headed towards the top of white, getting rid of some barbed wire here. Didn't spot out Smash though, but Doki finds Pasha, and he's already quite high up on the actual flooring here.
Well, Rask bites back, but Doki, where you going? To the back of the site, doesn't see the rotation come through, and Milan's doing everything to hold on to it, but Prano and Alamo finding one apiece, and, well, suddenly FMX is able to strike his way back to the top of white stairs. Milan gets one more. There is the catch. It's a 1 versus 1. Prano knows where the player is, pre-fires himself over to the angle, and has the kit in pocket, but at this point, he's just weighing and weighing up to see if he can get the swing. FMX gets it cleaner. And we are still level pegging, 5 apiece.
5 on 5 indeed, and this was quite a big push from the side of G2. I think what happened here is Doki pushing up those stairs, finds a kill, and he's like, guys, I have a lot of openings on the side here. I can just walk into attic, can walk into the bedroom. Unfortunately, he got shut in at that point, but G2 already set the push in motion at that moment. He's like, all right, we have this much control, we gotta use it. And they went a bit too aggressive, maybe. Maybe they went a bit too quick, weren't quite able to properly lock off all the flanks and set up the drones necessary to go for such a push because, well, FMX able to come up those white stairs, pick up a double kill and lock off their out for it. Just a simple drone could have been enough there to stop that from happening. And as the 10 seconds left on this tactical timeout from Outsiders are passing over, it is an important round. Round 11, when it's 5-5, whoever wins this one secures overtime and secures a single point. With that, of course, are going to have the opportunity to fight for 3. Whoever loses will be fighting for overtime, for survival, just to try and make sure that they can stay in it. And the site we're headed to will be the basement. Now, we have played this twice before. Once we saw a quick rush from G2 with the blitz that led in, successful. The other time, it was grenades rolling in from above after a lot of the utility had been taken out by the Twitch drone and the RC Retiros, also successful. So it's going to be a bit of a different push potentially here. If I count the grenades, I see only 4, but there is going to be that Ying on the board. That might be turning this into yet another rush at some point.
I mean, yeah.
As they grab control.
It's the Ying. They're going for the Ying. It's Alamau sort of dabbling around and bringing these different options. And as I said before, they're a team that loves attacker repick. They love trying to stress and press and bring new elements of pressure into the fight and the fold here. The Twitch still in possession to potentially try and take out some of these windows. But I think there'll be more of an awareness of it, which means that Citizen has more of an awareness. Instead, he's going to try and do some of the work on the rest of the map first and get them when they don't suspect them.
Actual pings coming through on players that were off the site. Pasha has already rotated back though, so not really a worry anymore, at least not for now on the side of G2. Actually, the player that is on those back stairs that is going to be the bigger worry. Doki will be hot droned in into the freezer. Needs to be quite quick here. Needs to get the opening kill if they want to be successful. But as the drone gets taken out, it's the mirror window waiting around the corner. The grenade, however, caught by the ADS. Smash stepped aside at just the right moment, just to make sure that they weren't able to get that grenade kill. If he stood Warriors right now, the ADS wouldn't have been able to actually zap it. So, good choice to step aside at that moment.
Hatch being popped open here, and you can see the awareness before of any drone that gets close. The Citizen is going to be very creative and make sure that he times the drive of these drones perfectly. There is obviously a huge plethora of utility. Oh, no, that one is entirely removed as soon as it stuck its little wheel around the corner. It was shot to pieces, and that puts them in a situation where they've still got this freezer control, they've still got this entry, and they also now have this echo as well to give themselves even more of a stretch of intel. So when things go away from them, they have a little bit extra they can work with. More drones, more pressure, and more prep, but as time as it starts to suddenly tick away. G2, where are you formulating?
That is the big question. Where is this push going to be coming from? Rask still trying to get both those Yokai drones into the right positions to stop a plant from happening. They think it will be heading near the laundry area. It might as well be, but most of them are currently around on the actual backside here. No one on the back stairs yet. Alamau is looking to go for a jump in soon. Has 3 Candelas in pocket. Is just waiting for the calls. Probably waiting for the drones to come through. They need the information. They need to know where these players are. Otherwise, it's going to be useless for him to jump in. And as Doki is trying to challenge onto the back stairs here, this is going to be the Candelas dropping in. This will be the execute. Milan gets the very first right after he blinds. It's Alamau with the refrag here. That finds one, but Smash follows right up.
There the Candelas rolling down the long corridor. A little bit of silence before they start to pop and fill your ears, or they would. Rask, he's holding himself behind those Echo drones, seeing if he can try and get them formulated into position, and also goes for the push. Alamau suffers a 4 versus 2. They have no control over Elbow, and they have one less player off the board now, but with less than 20 seconds, they've got to see if they can try and strong arm their way through. Pasha has the angle. Smash has a prep C4. They also have the take there from Rask, who's been doing huge work behind that one extension shield. And Virtue, he's waiting, but he's suffering from all different sides. It's a spray, it's a pepper, but it's no catch.
Just the many 360s coming in. The time was about to run out. There was no way he was going to be able to pick up that kill anymore. And G2 struggling a little bit under control there. They did not quite have everything they needed. They wanted to get freezer control, but the mirror window out there, they were unable to dispatch of it with the Twitch drones. They got caught early. And after that, they just needed to go for a hedge drop. And where they found a kill, they were unable to really find more tight angles being held by Rask around the bomb chassis, able to shut down 2 players that were about to be walking in for the default plant. Of course, the Yokai drones were always still up, so even though if they would have attempted one, they would easily have just been sonic bursted off there. And now it's Outsiders on a match point here. A single round of an opportunity to lock off for a full 3. G2 are willing, needing to make sure that they bring this to OT if they want to hold on to the top spot of the league, because that's what's at stake here. LFO, Heroic, both lost their games. We haven't gone to OT yet here. And G2 have the opportunity now to bring it to OT, get 1 point, which would be just enough to stay at the top of the standings here.
Well, that's it, G2. Can you get this one last round? We find ourselves in the tertiary site for the first time, actually, on this set of defenses, and it's time to see if G2 can try and put the pressure on the same way it was put upon them the only time we saw it against them. Alamau, once again, bringing fresh operators, a very quick way to break through a barricade, go for the start of the setup, and then pull it down. Means they get that entrance almost instantaneously. Doki, he's trying to match pace on the top of the tower. T3 starts to fall into his power, and Pasha seeing if he can still set himself up with these Valkyrie cams, but he's waiting, I think, for a swing or some other potential pressure.
Probably waiting to see if the extra push will be coming down from this way, just so if it does, they have a piece of information they can use afterwards. Doki taking instant damage as soon as the talent shield is being deployed. The Nitro tossed over. It's not really going to do much, I think. No, shield is still up. Just an extra rotation able to be used now by the side of G2. And as that is a exothermic place, they will be stopped by the Mew Gemmer for now. But as they do slowly start to try and get control of the actual Attic side, they might just be able to get it vertically, or Virtue's going to be opening up with that blowtorch to just get rid of it. But the feet are about to be shut out by Pasha there. He needs to be very careful. The impact comes through. That's successful. Not challenged at all. And that's going to be the first used off... I believe that's 2 in total. Yes, it was 2 in total. So still another opportunity here to stop them from using the breach.
They're going to open up more angles. They know they can't take a risk, and that's so the player on the stairs can try and get some swing pressure in. But Pasha still in such an aggressive position here. He's trying to really take full center stage here. The Osa's trying to set up. Citizen is looking for the fight over the top of the hatch, but can't quite get the connection there. So pulls himself off, because you're looking at 2 minutes. You're looking at still a bit of a deadlock here. G2 aren't really sure where they want to try and push their pressure, and as they open up the side window, sees the top of the Melusi, but she doesn't need to stay there. She doesn't need to do anything more than just put her presence down. There's another attempt with that charge. There's a Valkyrie. Still get the information on the Osa, but they should get the control of that. There's the drop of the impact a little bit early, and the Osa shield set up center stage, and that is a huge play.
C-Force. There's no C4s left, there's no impacts left, so as soon as these smoke canisters are starting to run out, I mean, there's still 2 left on the side of Smash, but that means they could be going for a plant. However, they still need to get control as Pasha to come around the corner, finds one, but instantly traded out afterwards, though. Gets confirmed as well. 4 on 4, 30 seconds, a single smoke canister left as grenades are attempted to be tossed over the corner. That might be picked up by these ADS. Still the player on Attic is going to be absolutely crucial here.
G2, what are you going to do? And, well, apparently not enter that way. FMX gets it. The player on the second story goes for a push. Milon is able to retake the stairs, finds one, looks for the second. They have to fight themselves into sight, but it's all locked out. And Outsiders are steadily making more of a statement about how they are inside this league and inside, for them, potentially, the top 4.
And just the joy that pops out of them as soon as they get that win. It means so much to them. They also know, you know, that they see the names on that roster. Doki, someone they struggled with when he was a Na'Vi. Alamau, of course, the international star from Brazil coming over. It just looks like an unbeatable team, especially how they started the UL, but they can be beaten and will be beaten here by Outsiders, who take the full 3 points, not just 2, not just 1, all 3 points, and those will definitely be helping for their road to a major.
And that's it. That's what they're fighting for, because they were one of those rosters with question marks. They sort of came in, they established themselves with a lot of changes, and, well, they're shaping up better and better every single week. G2 take their first knock, but it was almost all the way. So, lessons to be learned on still what is also a fresh roster. Talking of fresh, let's go for a break and see what he has to say about this.